All right, composers and performers, I want to give you the information about the competition for the first competition for orchestration for beginners, a composition and its allies. I put all the information in numerous documents on the website, but this is just so if you want a quick jog of memory of what's required. So the submission deadline is April 30th, 2026 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you will get extra points if you submit it super early. So what you need to do is you need to choose a phrase or section from your orchestral work that you want to reorchestrate, and of course you need to reorchestrate that phrase or section. What you're going to get, you will have an orchestration that you actually love, and most importantly, that you're going to fight to get performed. If you win, I will feature your work on an orchestration for beginners video, both on YouTube and the website for composition and its allies. What you can expect, I will give my best feedback possible on your orchestral work. I will look at the before and the after, and I will give you my opinion. And I may say something that can be improved. If you want a feel for what this looks like, then just check out some of the previous orchestration for beginners videos. In particular, there's going to be a French perspective to my feedback. So what you need to submit before and after PDFs of your orchestral work. So make sure you take a picture of the before you start to work on it, and the required forms. So rules and regulations should choose a complete phrase or section from your orchestral work that you want to rework. Okay, max 3 minutes, but I highly recommend just choosing something kind of simple, something that won't take too long, like 20 or 30 seconds, but make sure it's complete, like a complete phrase or a complete section. Make sure you fill out the worksheet for solve and fix the problems in your orchestration. This sheet is designed to actually help you with your orchestration process, but I also need to see it in order to judge the work that you do. Make sure you fill out the submission form, which shouldn't take too long, and make sure to submit the before and after versions of your work. Format. So I would like the following format. So last name, dash, and then the item that you're submitting in the email. I've put this in the PDF, but this is just so you can see what I'm looking for. Equality and fairness. So a lot of competitions are not very open about what they're looking for. A lot of times we wonder, is it worth our time? I don't want anyone wasting your time. So I have been very clear about what I'm looking for. I have a grading rubric that you were required to sign, so I know that you actually saw the grading rubric and you know what's expected of you, which I'll be getting to shortly. All right, so on the screen here, you can see the worksheet for solve or fix problems in your orchestration. This sheet is actually designed to help you get out of feeling stuck with a passage or section that you don't like, that you want to rework, but I also need it to be completed so that I can evaluate your fit for winning the competition. Please limit yourself to the space on the page. So at most, you see maybe 5 lines. I highly recommend on a separate piece of paper, in French we call it un brouillon, just kind of sketching out what your thought process so that when you commit to the page, it is something really clear, okay? So this is designed to get you clarity of thinking, which is one of the most important things for orchestration. So on this sheet, the first thing you need to do is to describe the problem. So start with a general problem or a central problem, and then give specific details. So we need to see just clarity of thinking. So start with the most important, and then get down to the nitty-gritty. So here's an example that I filled out. So it says orchestration feels dark and cold, so that's general. Then I cite measure 5, violin 2 and oboe 1. Double the bass note D for the dominant 7th chord. Okay, until end of measure 10. So again, specificity. This doubling of the bass D for the dominant 7 is present in the strings and the woodwinds. So this is said very specifically so that later the grader or examiner can verify this information. Okay, I see. I'm looking for this specifically. You mentioned the dominant 7th chord, the doubling of the bass. So these are things that anyone competent in orchestration can easily verify, all right? I say, in addition, the string register feels too dark and low, especially the viola G in measure 6. Okay, so very, very hyper-specific. This is going to make it a lot easier for you yourself to improve the orchestration, but also for the examiner to verify this information. Next, it requires you to write an action plan. So how are you going to figure out the solution? How are you going to implement the solution? Again, draft it on a separate piece of paper because your ideas probably are not clear at first, and this will allow you to get clarity of thinking, which is kind of the big step when it comes to quality orchestration. As you can see here, I put in reorchestrate the entire passage without the doubling of the bass note and the strings or the woodwinds for the dominant seventh chord. Again, very specific. Move the strings to a higher register, in particular the viola. So when I go to examine this, obviously I'm not going to examine my own stuff, but I'm looking, does this address the problem stated in the problem? Okay, and this is why I'm telling you, like, this process is what I utilize to get out of feeling stuck. So the part of what this does is it gets you clarity of thinking. It gets you clarity of thinking. So even if you don't do the competition, if you just do that, it will do a lot for orchestration. And finally, just summarize the solution. So once you've conquered a problem, it's really good to just kind of review everything and see what you can learn for the future. And of course, you'll need to actually do the reorchestration. The submission form is designed to be very, very quick. Okay, I don't want to suck up your time, but there's some basic information that I need. So your first name, last name, and the email address, because sometimes these things get separated from the email. Country of residence, because I want to have a feeling for where people are coming from. And then name of work and name of composer. If you win the competition, your work is going to be featured. You will get high quality feedback, both on a YouTube video as well as possibly through my website. So just know that we will show the work or the section of the work that you submitted. So if you don't want your name shown or the name of the work shown, let's say it's still in process or something like that, then you can of course make up a fake name and make up a fake composer name for this part where the asterisks are, but just make sure it sounds, it's professional. Then we have two mandatory boxes. So first, permission to feature winning works. I just need a formal permission that you are aware that if you win, your work will be featured in a video that will be published and go on YouTube as well as possibly on my website. Okay. Then there's the acceptance of the grading rubric. I will be going over that in just a second, but I need to verify that you understand what the rules and regulations are for how I'm going to be evaluating the works or submissions. Finally, there's an optional box, equality and fairness. So if you participate in a competition and you want to give feedback about what we can do to improve equality and fairness in the selection process, or maybe what actually worked really well, then check that box and I will contact you after with a survey so that I can make sure that we end this tyranny of opaque competition guidelines that we don't even know, how they're evaluating. And of course, just sign date, please. So I made the submission form just as painless as possible so you can focus more on the real work. Now let's get to the grading rubric. So there are two parts to the grading rubric. There's the quality of submission, which is 60 points, and quality of the work, 40 points. So more of an emphasis on just, can you follow directions? Also, that you can actually get extra points. So in theory, you can get up to 130 points if you score exceptional in some of the categories. If you get more than 100 points, you automatically win and you will be featured in the future orchestration for beginners video. So first category, deadline expectations, 20 points total. So if you get done 1 month in advance, it's 20 points. If you get it less, then there are less points. Just check the rubric. There are 4 documents that are required that you can check out on the PDF, or you can just review this video, so you get up to 20 points. So what I'm looking for is that all the documents are present, the correct format, correctly labeled, just, can you follow directions? One quick note, you can actually get exceptional if you take the time to just order them in the right order. I really want to kind of give a boost for those who just want to be just a little more organized. So then you got to make sure the submission form is complete. Again, these are routine tasks. This is not even about the quality of orchestration. So the form is filled out. There's nothing missing. If I have to do follow-up emails because things are just not there, that's a waste of my time. So then I'm going to be taking points off. Then we have described the problem. Okay, so did you follow the instructions? You put a central problem, and then you put the specificity. Just double check earlier in this video to see what I'm talking about. Then propose solution. Does your solution address the problem? And just, review the rubric on your own time to just see the exact different levels of success. Verification of the problem. So here I'm going to either print out your orchestration or just look at it probably on the screen at first. And I want to see, okay, based on information provided on the worksheet, do I see the problem this person is talking about? So that's why you got to have measure numbers. You got to be specific. Remember when I said, okay, the dominant seventh chord, these measures, these groups, that way I can quickly verify, okay, I see what the person is talking about, and I can verify that there is a problem. Then the next category is verification of the solution. So based on what you provided in the solution and what I've verified already with the problem, can I see that the solution was implemented? So make sure that you're specific. But again, we talked about le bouillon, okay, the separate piece of paper. When you're doing the how to fix or solve problems in your orchestration worksheet, just sketch out your ideas on a separate piece of paper first, so that when you put it on the official piece of paper for the submission, that it's super clear. That's how you get clarity thinking. All right, so there'll be 3 winners for the competition that will get their works featured, or their sections of their work features and my feedback. There'll be possibly more winners if we have people who score above 100, because you'll automatically advance to winner. I'll just look from the remainders. The best thing you can do is actually just focus on just getting a beautiful orchestration. So focus on that worksheet and really think about, what is the problem in orchestration? What do I want to improve? And just make it happen. That's the first and foremost, because then you're going to have something that's excellent and you're going to fight to get that bad boy performed. If you have questions or comments, please just review the documents on the website. I try to make it as clear as possible. Some of it may seem like extra words, but I just want everything, any possible questions could already be answered just by reviewing the documents. I know it may seem like a lot of work, but this is just to ensure that we have fairness and equality, okay? If there are any further questions, then please just leave them in this video here, okay, in the comments. That way we can all see them. I can respond in a generic way to everyone, and just reserve the email communication for when you have a completed submission. All right, composers, good luck.